If you want to know who all has been coming, if you want to know who all has been coming up against you, all you got to do is just check your rear view. All you got to do is just check to see, do you have any company around you? Where's your man? Where's your friends? Where's your family? Do you see them? Exactly. Those are the ones that have been coming up against you. And you're going to know exactly who was doing what, who was the culprit, who said what, who all jumped on the bandwagon, who all got paid some hush hush money, who all lived in the company's house, hallelujah, who all just was in on the demonic onslaught to take you out, and them calling themselves trying to humble you because they didn't feel like you were at a stature that you needed to be at in order to have what the Lord blessed you with. Okay, if the Lord blessed you with it, he says that everything it is that he makes is great. Hallelujah. You already knew that you was the queen, but you don't have to be out here sashaying around telling everybody this and telling everybody that. What is understood doesn't need to be explained. People should be able to already know when they're up against royalty. Hallelujah. Royalty is not always going to look like what you think it should look like, and sometimes it's going to be the opposite way around. You're going to be having people out here that probably got the nice vehicles, the foreign cars, a couple of assets and some things like that, but that don't mean that that is who it is that the Lord has designated to be in the position. Hallelujah. Yeah, so you want to know who it is that has been talking down on you in the town. You know what I'm saying, spreading rumors around, hallelujah, try to clear the path for you and set up something travesty to happen to you so that they can be in your place around here acting like they you, like you got a double or something, like you got a clone. It's only one of you. You shall know, like, you know. And I don't, a couple of days ago I was hearing that God was pronouncing death upon the enemies. You know, that was what I had heard. Hallelujah. Me myself, I wouldn't want death to have to come upon anything, and not all the time is it going to be a physical state of death. It can be just a death of situationships, relationships, hallelujah, environments, you know, socializations. It can be many of different things that can come to an end. It will die. Hallelujah. In addition to that, yeah, pronouncing death upon your enemies. You know, these individuals already know what is the ending. We know that the wages of sin equals death. We know that the wages of sin equals death. Hallelujah. And a lot of these people know what's going to end up happening to them because they know that they're not supposed to be playing in witchcraft. It's heavy, and to the extent that they are playing around in it with. But they continue to do what it is that they do. Because a lot of them just feel like they can't be touched. Hallelujah. But God is the one that can touch them. Like, I'm going to have to put out this word where God was saying that he was going to slay and unseize that serpent, that old serpent that is in the sea, Leviathan. Hallelujah. Yeah. So yeah, your family and friends, you know, you want to know who it is that has been attacking you. All you got to, if you had people that you were close with at one point in time and they're no longer around, those are the ones that have been attacking you. If you're in your private space and you constantly keep seeing women from your past, hearing different love songs and different things like that, those are the people that were attacking you to a great degree. These individuals have been out here trying to sacrifice you. You know, there's this movie that I seen on Lifetime, and it was about this lady that was a sugar mama, and the lady had a son that had passed away. However, she had this doctor that was a friend, but at one point in time she had dated the doctor man. So it was like he was a friend, but it was just like they also had some type of secret interactions or sexual relations as well. And you know, sometimes, you know, that's how you network. Some people network like that. Me myself, I don't network like that. But you have some people that network, and you know, they sex their way up, and they do different favors for their friends, men and or women, in order to be able to, you know, make things work out for them, in order to be able to get ahead, if you may. So the lady, you know, she ended up becoming a sugar mama. Somebody ended up telling her she had already had a previous person, but I don't know how that had went. She had like a lot of just different secret connections and things like that. But this is an older woman, you know, she had been married a couple of times. And I think something happened as far as with her husband getting into, the last husband before she got into the relationship with her with her sugar dad, with her young partner. She was a sugar mama and he was her client. Before she had gotten a relationship with him, she had been already previously in a marriage, but something, some type of a correcting or something took place. So then, hold on one second, you guys. So as I was saying, like, she had been married previously. I'm seeing 731. That I know that number is being hidden knowledge. So she had been married previously. Her son, she had her son room still decked up and everything like that, because this lady had an ulterior motive as to why she wanted the young man to be her comforting partner or something to that extent. Hallelujah. Yeah. So, she ended up being referred to this young man. She met him online. They ended up meeting up, talking and things like that. And, he took on the job of being her companion, to spend time with her, to comfort her, to be an ear for her, to keep her company, if you may. However, this young man also had a girlfriend, and they were both in college. And, the girlfriend came into agreement with him taking the job too, because they had their rent and their own, bills and things like that they had to take care of. But most importantly, his heart was with his girlfriend. Him taking on the job position was just in order for him to make ends meet. You see, so both parties went into the agreement with, I'm hearing different arrangements, different perspectives. But I don't know why Amos 3 and 3 is coming up with, how can two walk together unless they agree? That's just what came to mind. However, to make a long story short, she had her own ulterior motive as to why she wanted to deal with the guy. I noticed that throughout the movie, she was trying to kill off, she wanted to kill his girlfriend, anybody that he was close to. She wanted to just try to come in and ruin and wreak havoc in this young man's life when he already had his own thing that was taking place. He was only supposed to be keeping her company and just taking on a job position as far as with, meeting maybe some type of personal needs or whatever the case may be. Sexual, I don't know if it was anything sexual or if it got to that point. I don't quite remember. Maybe it did. But she started taking it overboard. She started trying to run him and lord over him and control him. To make a long story short, I'm saying 8888. To make a long story short, she wanted to only deal with this young man with the intent to kill him and to take his heart and to give it to her son. Hallelujah. Now, I think the girlfriend ended up passing away. I don't know if the guy ended up passing away or if he was able to get away. I think a couple of people lost their lives in the movie. I'm gonna have to watch it again because I just recently seen the commercial for it. Long story short, she wanted to use his heart for her son, and I believe towards the end of the movie she was able to get a heart for her son. And see, this is the thing, I don't know why this is coming. I'm seeing 414, created for such a time as this. And this keeps coming up in the spirit because God has shown me this in the dream, that these people that are part of these motels and hotels are in on this particular type of organization. It's like a hidden organization within an organization. Hallelujah. So you guys have to be mindful of when you're taking on contracts and when you're coming into agreement with these side relationships and getting into just different environments and different interactions with these individuals, because you can have one thing in mind and then the opposite party can also have another thing in mind. I'm seeing 544 right now. However, we rebuke the enemy. Hold on one second. So as I was saying when I came on at the beginning of the video, if you want to know who it is that has sold you out and who it is that have been your nemesis, hallelujah, your repetitive offenders, the people that tried to sell you out for sin or tried to sell you off as a sex object, hallelujah, tried to sell you off to try to sacrifice you for a man or woman, you're going to know exactly who it is that has been coming up against you, because you're going to see people dropping, hallelujah. You're going to see just different illnesses falling on these different people. Their money and different things are going to be depleted. Just